NCTV. Don't blink.
In the news tonight,
the non-tariff barriers have continued to be breached by the communities, which I think we need to look at.
Speaker of Parliament Anita Among calls out to East African Court of Justice on issue of regional free trade. Lord Mayor Edias Lukwago drags State Minister for Kampala and Deputy RCC to court over vendor and border directives.
We have to prepare a register, which we updated, and now it's going to be displayed for a period of 10 days.
Plus, Electoral Commission starts display of voters' registers for local government councils by elections ahead of elections in August.
Thank you very much.
And in sports, Team Uganda flagged off by President Yoweri Museveni ahead of Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. It's only 1 minute on to the top of the hour. A very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is PM Edition. I am Bernadette Pio with Isaac Luchamuzi on sign language. In our top story tonight, over 15 African countries have today pledged to join Uganda in commemorating the African Anti-Corruption Day in a bid to fight corruption. The event, which was organized by the Inspectorate of Government, saw the different countries call for the support of their governments to support and empower anti-corruption agencies at all levels. Chris Amakola with all the details.
African Anti-Corruption Day, which was started by the African Union, is commemorated every year on the 11th of July in recognition of the vast progress in the fight against corruption on the African continent and the need to reflect on approaches to end corruption. The commemorations this year were led by the Office of the Inspectorate of Government in Kampala and attended by representatives from several African countries such as Egypt, South Sudan, Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Kenya, Algeria, among others. According to the Inspector General of Government, Betty Kamia, African countries receive over $133 billion annually in the form of grants, loans and donations, but over $140 billion is lost through corruption.
$133 billion per year. That is what Africa receives in grants, in loan and in aid every year. The AU data also reveals that Africa is estimated to lose about $140 billion a year in corruption.
In December last year, on the International Anti-Corruption Day, President Yoweri Museveni launched a lifestyle audit campaign in a bid to fight corruption. IGG Kamya still believes that this is a vital way of fighting corruption.
We said to ourselves that we must take this war to the front line, where there are foot soldiers desperate to end the war because they are the victims of corruption. We need to recruit the masses to fight the war because it is their war.
Bishop Joshua Lule, the chairperson of a committee on zero tolerance to corruption in Uganda, who also represented the Speaker of Parliament Anita Among, says inciting the local population to stand against corruption is the best option.
The first is on the national level by mainstreaming the fight through what we call integrity focal persons in every agency of government. The second level is to take it to the regional and district level. And then the third level is where the rubber meets the road. That is the masses. This is where we are going to put the major emphasis.
RUKWO says the existing structures need to be empowered to fight against the vice.
The bottom-up approach, where we engage the people at the parish level and the sub-county level, creating awareness, inciting them, giving them the knowledge and the empowerment they need so that they can start demanding accountability from the duty bearers.
Other CSOs and ambassadors of different countries had something to say on the matter.
The people's mindset, unless we have mindset change, corruption shall continue to thrive.
We don't provide resources for this specialized training, then people will just take advantage of that situation and money will keep on getting lost.
The majority of the women and the majority of the children are still very poor. That's why I'm using the word selfless. Not looking at my sister, Honorable Kamia, not looking at your salary, but coming to IGG and say, we must fight corruption.
The African Anti-Corruption Day 2022 has been commemorated under the theme Escalating the War on Corruption in Africa, focusing on COVID-19 funds. Safi, Mokile Baloko and Chris, Semale Musimakula for CTV, PM Edition.
Thank you, Semakula. On to Parliament, where the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, has called upon the East African community to troubleshoot the non-tariff barriers, which she claims have continued to breach the East African Market Protocol. Among made these remarks while meeting a delegation from the East African Court of Justice at Parliament today.
This morning, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, hosted a delegation from the East African Court of Justice, led by its President, Justin Nesta Kayobela. In his meeting with the Speaker, the President of the Court, Justice Kayobela, revealed that the East African Court of Justice will hold its second judicial conference in Uganda from the 26th to the 27th October and also hold a court session in November.
After the conference, all the court will be here the whole November. So, which means that we move the court from Arusha to a partner state, so that at least people can come and see how the court is operating, because we will be rendering also a number of judgments, including judgments which involve also Uganda.
Justice Kayobela also appealed to the members of the Ugandan Parliament to elect members of the East African Legislative Assembly who understand the agenda of the East African community.
We are going to have new members of EALA. We are sure that we will get members of EALA who understand the role of the court in implementing the agenda of the community. Because without a strong court, without a strong judiciaries, you can never achieve what you are supposed to achieve in the community.
In her remarks, the Speaker of Parliament welcomed the move by the East African Court of Justice to hold sessions in Uganda, but appealed to the community to resolve the issues of the non-tariff barriers that are limiting some of the countries in the community to access markets.
The non-tariff barriers have continued to be breached by the communities, which I think we need to look at, because if it is breached and it is within our market protocols, we need to interest ourselves in this kind of thing. We need a principle of Ubuntu within the community.
Anita Among assured members of the East African Court of Justice that Uganda will send members of the Parliament to the East African Legislative Assembly who understand the agenda of the East African market.
Of the sessions locally helps us a lot. It makes people to understand what is happening, that you cannot just deal with the local system, and we will appreciate to have the session in Uganda, and we'll encourage a number of people to ensure that they attend the session when the session is sitting in Uganda.
The second judicial conference, organized by the East African Court of Justice from the 26th to the 28th, will give the people of Uganda an opportunity to understand how the court operates. Sarah Nakandi for CTV, PM Edition.
The Lord Mayor of Elias Mago and councillors have petitioned the High Court of Uganda seeking for its intervention on the issue of regulating border cyclists and the eviction of vendors from the streets. According to the Lord Mayor, the move, which is being spearheaded by the State Minister for Kampala, Kabuye Chofa-Togabye, and the Deputy RCC for Kampala, Rubaga, is illegal and unconstitutional.
The 2 years of lockdown during the COVID-19 pandemic saw many people close shops while others struggled to raise their businesses from the ground, and after it was announced that the economy had been reopened. Although many street vendors and kiosk operators had managed to find their way back on the streets, they were forcefully evicted. After the eviction of the street vendors and kiosk operators, attention has now been turned to the border riders. According to the State Minister for Kampala, Kabuye Chofa-Togabye, and Deputy Resident Commissioner Herbert Anderson, border cyclists have to take mandatory training and testing before going to the roads. Addressing journalists today at the city, the Lord Mayor of Kampala, Elias RUKWO, has come out to challenge the move by the State Minister for Kampala, calling it illegal and unconstitutional. According to RUKWO, they have already filed a case in the High Court.
What we call for, first and foremost, we are seeking for declarations. 2, we are seeking for what we call an order of certiorari. An order of certiorari is a prerogative writ, or prerogative order of court, quashing all decisions that have been made, which are illegal, which are traverse, which are irrational, which are unreasonable.
The road mayor says there are no laws. So which laws have we broken, or which laws have we not enforced, or which laws have we not respected?
RUKWO also wants court to force the central government to provide funds for the construction for more public markets that will be used to accommodate the street vendors.
To compel the central government to allocate funds for the implementation of the KCC strategic plans for 2014, 2015, 2018, 2019 financial year, planning period, and those particular strategic plans made provisions for construction of common user facilities on modern markets.
According to RUKWO, all plans to turn Kampala into a smart and modern city were finalized in 2014 during John Famsis's tenure as executive director, but nothing has been implemented. He now wants street hawkers to be given licenses to operate in specially designated places.
The law talks about licensing them. And when we talk about licensing, it doesn't imply that they should be licensed to operate from whenever they want.
In his response to the Lord Mayor, the Deputy RCC for Rubaga Division, Herbert Anderson, says all they are doing is in the interest of maintaining peace and security.
And this war he's fighting a war against people. He's fighting war against victims that have fallen prey to thuggery, to robbery. He has fallen prey, he's fighting war to people who have lost lives, relatives, people who have permanent injuries on their bodies because of this lawlessness.
According to Aurora, all stakeholders in the city need to work together towards promoting a smart city.
I think now these are 11 years as Lord Mayor, 5 years as MP Kampala Central. Those are 16 years in positions of privilege to make policy, to guide law and order, and to put these structures in place. He has done nothing. I have just come to Kampala. I have just been given this office. The minister has just come also 1 year in office. How can he say that the problems of Kampala have started with us?
According to Elias RUKWO, he will continue to fight the directives which he believes they are oppressive to the people of Kampala. The Lord Mayor's decision to act comes after receiving several complaints from the people living and working within Kampala. Safi Mokili Paluku and Chris Semalemu Semakula for CTV PM Edition.
A group of people affected by the construction of the critical oil roads in the districts of Chikube and Kakumiro are demanding for accessibility to their homes and businesses. The members of the community who raised these matters before the Prime Minister Robin Anabanja also want government to re-evaluate the compensations awarded to them for their land.
Prime Minister Robin Anabanja, the State Minister for Transport Fred Byabakama and UNRA Executive Director Allen Kajina have been in the districts of Chikube and Kakumiro where they have carried out an on-spot inspection of the critical oil roads such as Mubende Kakumiro Kagadi Road and Kakumiro Buhimba Oil Road. While carrying out the inspections, members of the community raised a number of issues which include undervaluation and not having access to their homes and businesses.
Me, I wish the government should pay me, should compensate me completely, and then I go away, or they give me access to my home. And then I have my elders, my grand, she can't now access the road. So those are some of the challenges we are facing.
The Prime Minister Robin Anabanja and the team from Uganda National Roads Authority, led by Executive Director Allen Kajina, took notes of the issues raised and promised immediate action to settle the emerging disagreements.
We have, together with the Executive Director of UNRA, agreed that we need to set a team to come back here and make sure that those access roads are put right. Then two, also discovered that some people were not compensated. And therefore, the Chief Government Valuer is coming back together with another team to see what happened.
The affected people also complained about cracks that have developed in their houses caused by the blast in the stone quarry sites and lack of humps in some critical roads. Allen Kajina, the Executive Director of UNRA, says the issues raised will be considered and settled amicably.
Right Honorable Prime Minister, comes on nowhere na timu ya Zagaka on wiki ya mpere o ya July. Zagaka na timu yetu engineer who was a Christian. Umemu kama wengu, yani
Buhimba Town Council in Kikube District have requested the road constructor to construct at least 3 extra kilometers of roads within the towns. The government of the Republic of Uganda applied for a loan from China Exim Bank and contracted China Wu Ying Company Limited at a sum of $138 million to design and build critical oil roads from Buhimba na Lweyo Bulamaji and Bulamaji Igayaza Kakumiro. The works include oil field works, detailed engineering and construction of 93 kilometers of roads. Simon Chris Makanga, CTV, PM Edition.
Now, police have today revealed that they have made some progress into the investigation of the gruesome murder of the former Chief Administrative Officer of RUKWO District, Charles Robert Ogwang, who was gunned down in Matuga by unknown assailants. According to the police spokesperson Fred Enanga, 2 witnesses who recorded the incident are helping the police in the investigations.
On the 8th of this month, unknown assailants attacked the Chief Administrative Officer of RUKWO District, Charles Robert Ogwang, in the areas of Matuga, gunning him down and setting his car ablaze. The brutal attack, which went viral on social media, saw many people react to the attack with lots of worry and dismay. While addressing journalists today at the security briefing held at the police headquarters, police publicist Fred Enanga revealed that police is currently investigating the horrific incident.
We continue to investigate the fatal shooting of the car of RUKWO District, Mr. Charles Robert Ogwang. This incident occurred on the 8th at around 11 p.m. at Chiriowa village, that is along Bombo Road.
According to Enanga, police already have a lead from 2 witnesses who recorded the whole incident on a smartphone.
We also got a very clear account from 2 other victims who were on a tuk-tuk, that is a tricycle, registration number UFF 849H. They were also around the vicinity, driving towards the Bombo side. So when bullets were fired, they managed to escape. They abandoned the tricycle and fled for their lives. Now, at their hiding point in the bush, they managed to take time to witness what was taking place. Enanga
today also urged members of the public to remain vigilant following reports of increasing insecurity. Police have also reported an increase in cases of armed robberies throughout the metropolitan areas of Mukono, Kawempe, Nankulabi, Kasangati, and Lusanja. Members of the public have been urged to keep a watchful eye and to report any form of suspicious activity.
We carried out an operation in that place, and we arrested 26 notorious thugs and criminals who have been terrorizing this area within the old Kampala division. And these operations still continue in that area.
Police say they are continuing with the manhunt of gun-wielding people who have been terrorizing Ugandans. So far, 2 suspects have already been arrested in connection with the Mukono supermarket armed robbery. Hope Nyongereza, CTV, PM edition.
With that, we take a short break. Plenty more when we return.
CTV is now on StarTimes. You can now catch all your favorite programs, our daily comprehensive news bulletins, and so much more on StarTimes channel number 248. Stay tuned for a world of endless possibilities. CTV, don't blink. The big debate is back. Bigger, bolder, reloaded. Whether it is securing your future, holding fast to the people power, or the promise of a one Uganda, one thing is certain: the big debate is on.
So why don't you respect the memories of voters on this?
We have already addressed the issue of increment.
How many people have ever been convicted?
Okay.
There's a way the politics plays in cabinet.
So now why are they asking for the statement?
Follow mainstream conversations on current affairs and leading policy debates in Uganda.
It is in our interest to handle arrested people very nicely.
Right here on The Big Debate.
Let me finalize this. I was quiet. I was quiet.
It's a hard-hitting talk show on development issues in the political and social economic arena. Discussions that inform policy and trigger high-level dialogue. Now showing on CTV. Don't blink.
Thank you for staying with us. Welcome back. You're still watching PM Edition. In other top stories of the day, South Africa's Minister for Internal Relations and Cooperation, Dr. Naledi Pandor, wants Africans to start practicing what they preach instead of living lavish and extravagant lifestyles while discussing poverty and need for development. Naledi made these remarks at the Joint Commission Cooperation meeting between Uganda and South Africa held in Kampala today.
The 5-day meeting, which has been going on for the last couple of days, brought together several dignitaries from both Uganda and South Africa, as well as members of the private sector. The aims are strengthening bilateral ties between both countries. State Minister for Foreign Affairs Okello Oryem, who led the Ugandan delegation, welcomed South Africa's Minister for International Relations and Cooperation, Dr. Naledi Pandor, before signing a pact between the two countries.
It's imperative that as countries which are member states of the African Union, we move away from the predilection we have of excellent declarations and statements and actually begin implementing what we commit to. We have wonderful frameworks as Africa, but our continent is not changing, and we need to act on that.
According to the South African minister, leaders should lead by example and avoid neglecting their responsibility to people.
Because we are the ones that our people have assigned the task of changing their lives. And the lack of change is our fault, as Shakespeare would say, and not in the stars.
Both Uganda and South Africa agreed to work together to foster growth in infrastructure development, expanding the pharmaceutical industry, mining, oil exploration, among others.
We hope Uganda will lead in beneficiation of the mineral resources of this country, and that working together with South Africa will become better at value addition, so that those we export to receive value-added products that generate significant foreign income for our countries. So please, don't just ship out your oil, your gas, your gold. Value add in Uganda and ship out value-added goods.
Uganda's State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Okello Oryem, commended the visiting delegation for promoting trade between two countries. Uganda and South Africa are said to have engaged in trade worth US $194 million in 2021. However, Oryem says that there is more that needs to be done.
We believe that there's a lot more that can be done together to diversify the range of export products and addressing all non-trade facilitating measures, including joint cooperation on issues of standards and easing the visa requirements for our private sector.
The third session of the Joint Commission of Cooperation will be taking place in Pretoria, South Africa in 2 years' time. Before then, there is going to be an assessment meeting to assess what has been agreed on today. Ramson Muhire, CTV PM Edition.
Thank you, Ramson, for that report. Now, the Electoral Commission has started displaying the National Voters Registers in preparation for the local government council by-elections in areas where seats remain vacant that need to be filled. According to the Commission, a total of 56 vacancies for chairpersons and councillors across the country are currently vacant. According to the Electoral Commission, the registers will be publicly displayed for a period of 10 days, starting today on the 11th of July to the 20th of July in different constituencies across the country. Some of the areas where the exercise has already been rolled out include the Albertine region, Central region, Northern region, Eastern region, the Elgon region, Greater Kampala, Kira, and Southwest. These vacancies that the Electoral Commission needs to fill occurred as a result of deaths and resignations and will be filled in various local government councils within 26 districts across the country. Spokesperson of the Commission, Paul Bukenya, is confident that the process will enable the Commission to clean out the voter register.
The display helps us to work together with the local people to clean the register, after which we'll use it for nomination of candidates on the 18th and the 19th, and then we'll use it for purposes of polling.
Bukenya is also certain the process will not be affected by any financial hurdles that affected the Women Council and Committee's elections.
Total cost for these by-elections about 3 billion shillings, which was allocated, and it is running this activity. So it will be run up to the end because the funds were set aside for that purpose.
In some parts of Kampala that we visited, such as Machinje Division, we found the exercise already underway, according to the returning officers.
And all the 14 polling stations are ready for this exercise. We are just waiting for the stakeholders, especially the electorate, to come and check for their details.
Most Electoral Commission exercises are usually marred by challenges such as delay of voter materials reaching the polling stations. Officials say this will not be the case this time round.
The biggest challenge right now is that some of the places that we use are also used for other purposes. Now, even when you get materials in time, you may not be ready to start because you have to get permission from those places that you are using.
The nomination of candidates for the by-elections will be conducted on the 3rd and 4th of August, while the campaigns will take place from the 6th to the 16th of August 2022. Polling for chairpersons and councillors will take place on the 18th of August in the affected electoral areas. You're still watching PM Edition. In our regional news, an explosion in Togo kills 7, while Malawi unveils a plan to reduce overpopulation in Luwande Park. An explosion in northern Togo has killed 7 people, the military says, without giving further details about the blast. The explosion happened in Ton Prefecture near the border with Burkina Faso, where a Sahel jihadist insurgency is threatening to spill over into coastal Western African nations. Togo last month declared a state of emergency in its northern prefectures over the threat of Islamist militant attacks from north of its border. Togo's army said in a statement the explosion on Saturday in Magba village in Tone killed 7 and wounded 2 more. It did not give more details and did not describe it as an attack. 8 Togolese soldiers were killed in May in an attack in northern Togo near the border with Burkina Faso. Togo's troops are deployed in the north of the country to try and contain a jihadist threat pushing south from Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, where militants linked to Al-Qaeda and Islamic State group operate. Some 250 elephants are to be driven 350 kilometers across the country to be relocated from Liwonde to Kasungu National Park in Malawi by the end of July. The move aims to tackle overpopulation at Liwonde, where cases of elephants straying into human communities around the park were becoming a concern. This is the second translocation in 3 years, with 300 elephants moved to Nkota Kota Game Reserve in 2019. The species had almost disappeared at Kasungu National Park in central Malawi, with around 50 specimens compared to 1,200 around 50 years ago, mainly due to poaching for ivory. The animals will be transferred between June 27th and July 29th. In Liwonde, poaching has almost disappeared and elephants are now overpopulated. Other animals will also be transported, such as buffaloes, impalas and warthogs. Other stories making headlines across the globe. Lawmakers in Sri Lanka are set to pick a new president after the former president stepped down. And Russians want their president to be referred to as ruler than president. Lawmakers are set to pick a new president on July 20th after Gotabaya Rajapaksa agreed to step down. A financial and economic crisis have thrown the country into political turmoil. Sri Lanka's parliament will reconvene on Friday after large-scale protests forced President Gotabaya to flee his residence and eventually agree to resign, government spokesperson Mahinda Yapa said on Monday. The 225 members of parliament will convene on Friday with plans for lawmakers to put forward nominations to replace Rajapaksa as the president, who has said he will step down on Wednesday. The vote for the position for president will take place on the following Wednesday, July 20th, according to the officials. During the party leaders' meeting held today, it was agreed that it was essential to ensure a new all-party government is in place in accordance with the constitution and to take forward essential services. A pro-Kremlin party is calling for Vladimir Putin to be referred to as Russia's ruler rather than the Russian president in order to move away from a job derived from a foreign language. The Nationalist Liberal Democratic Party proposed replacing the term president with pravitel, which means ruler, because the term president has not yet taken root completely in Russia. The LDPR said that using the term president has always embarrassed them. The party argued in its proposal that the term was first used at the end of the 18th century in the United States and much later spread throughout the world. The proposal comes more than 4 months after Putin ordered the invasion of Ukraine, launching a war that has killed thousands. Vladimir Zhirinovsky, the long-term leader of the LDPR, who died in April, proposed many times, referring to the president as the supreme ruler in order to create distance from the job titles that stem from foreign languages. PM Edition takes another short break. Stay with us. Sports is up next. Welcome back. In sports tonight, the World Athletics Championships and Commonwealth Games are just days away, and Uganda plans to send a strong pack at both events. Today, President Yoweri Museveni flagged off the athletes. Here's more.
The Team Oregon can stand up.
It is 4 days to the World Athletics Championship in Oregon, USA, and 17 days to the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, UK. Team Uganda has always been confident of a decent return when it comes to medals. Today afternoon at the Kololo Independence Grounds, the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, flagged off the teams.
Thank you very much.
The World Athletics Championship starts on July 14th and will go all the way till July 24th in Oregon, USA. The Commonwealth Games commence on July 28th to August 8th in Birmingham. The President urged the athletes to utilize the opportunity of representing their country.
Don't misuse your chance. Let them eat well, look after their discipline. I've told them about alcohol, about malaria. The sky will be the limit.
Minister of Education and Sports, Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni, urged the athletes not to bring shame to the Ugandan flag.
That you always remember that while you are abroad, you are holding the Uganda flag wherever you go. Therefore, you must ensure that you do nothing that brings shame to that flag. Recently, while some of our sports teams were in Japan for the Olympic Games, one of our athletes chose to get lost somewhere, if you remember. It was such a shame.
Joshua Cheptegei is going to Oregon to defend his 5,000 meters world title and a double gold in the 10,000 meters and 5,000 meters. He says it is a tight schedule, but promises the country the best.
I want to really say that this is a very important championship, where we are having a close championship of the World Athletics Championship, which is just in 5 days' time. And then we'll be having again from 27th to 8th of July, the Commonwealth Games. This is a very typical schedule, one that we have never had from the previous years. But I don't want to pledge a lot of things. I want to promise Ugandans that we are in good spirit, we are in good faith, and we believe that the Almighty God will deliver us.
Rugby player Michael Wokolach will captain Team Uganda for the second straight time, alongside Shikren's captain Peace Proskovia. Wokolach says it is a tremendous honor to represent the country and there's no pressure.
It was an honor for me to be named again as a captain for the contingent of Uganda to the Commonwealth Games. It's not something new to me. I was the captain of Team Uganda in 2018. So definitely I would say there's no pressure on me. I've been a captain of rugby for most of my playing career. So this is something I'm used to, and I'm very sure I have the potential and the skill to captain this team to greater heights. So
Uganda will be going to the Commonwealth Games with over 80 athletes in 11 different disciplines, which include netball, rugby, boxing, athletics, swimming, table tennis, badminton, squash, cycling, and weightlifting. Saika Yasin Sekalala, CTV PM edition.
Quite a colourful send-off. We wish them all the best. Finally, Cricket Cranes started their ICC T20 World Cup Global Qualifiers brightly with a 2-wicket win over Hong Kong in Zimbabwe today afternoon. Here are the details.
Without head coach Lawrence Mahatlani, who is yet to arrive in Zimbabwe, and skipper Brian Masaba down with illness, Uganda started their ICC T20 World Cup Global Qualifiers on a good note. Uganda won their opening game of the campaign by 2 wickets, but it was their fielding that impressed assistant coach Jackson Ogwang the most. The Cricket Cranes did limit Hong Kong to 87 runs for 9 as Denish Nakurani picked 4 wickets.
One thing I would say is we've got a positive start. A win is a win. We'll take it today. And one big positive I would pick from this game is this is the best I've seen the boys ball and field. And restricting a team like Hong Kong to 88 runs was brilliant for the boys. We'll pick all the positives from this game and push it into tomorrow's game. Yes, we struggled to cross the line there, but we'll improve on the performance in the next game too.
Just like Ogwang, standing captain Kenneth Waiswa was impressed by the first innings.
Today we knew it was a chance for us to start the final on a high, and the boys bowled very well in the first innings. Just conceding only 3 boundaries that was back from bowlers. Basically, the Danish bowled well, 4 for 12. Franco, Cosmas, Envy, they also bowled well. So going forward tomorrow, we should look to continue doing on the good things that we did today, and also up the party.
After the first innings, it looked like it was always going to be a light meal in the second innings. It wasn't the case. Uganda lost 3 wickets in the first 3 overs. Simon Sesazi was dismissed after just 1 ball. Roger Mkasa and Kenneth Waiswa followed thereafter. It was Ronak Patel and Riaz Ali Shah who stabilized the ship with a combined 48 runs, as the latter scored 28 not out of 41 balls. It wasn't long before the wickets of Frank Akankwasa and Fred Achlem also fell. By the 20th over, Uganda needed 3 runs from 6 balls. Frank Subuga was dismissed at the first ball of the over. At this point, it was still 3 runs required from 4 balls with 2 wickets to protect. Cosmas Chauta picked a run before Ali Shah's effort was dropped by Hong Kong Aziaz Khan in a tense moment that saw Uganda pick up the 2 runs that were needed. Uganda returns to action tomorrow and they'll be taking on Papua New Guinea, who lost their opening game of the campaign to the Netherlands by 52 runs. Clive Chaze, CTV PM edition.
That was our broadcast tonight. Always a pleasure having you join us. PM edition returns tomorrow. Till then, have yourselves a blessed night.